am getting information that I am in fact live. So if you're tuning in after the fact, hello, welcome. Thanks for watching. In fact, I asked a few of you last time to send me a message if you watch after the fact. And indeed, several of you did, which was really nice to hear that a few of you are indeed those people that watch afterwards. So whether you're tuning in with me and you're watching live or you're watching afterwards, thanks and cheers. I'm having a bit of a cappuccino I made at home here. Hope you have a coffee in hand or something to drink because we've got some awesome guitars to go through today. And if you are watching after the fact, keep in mind there are timestamps that you can click on in the video so you can skip past the part while I wait for others to show up. But if you enjoy hanging out, then feel free to stick around. Maybe I'll start doing gossip at the beginning while I wait for start doing guitar gossip at the beginning while I wait for others to join. In fact, I noticed the analytics are usually wrong. At the beginning, it'll say that no one's here, and then all of a sudden it'll pop up and there's 20 people here. So, welcome. And for those of you that did tune in early, the guitar that I'm holding in my hands right now is made by Glenn Canin, the American luthier, based out of near San Francisco, California. Yeah, his label says San Francisco. Amazing, brilliant American luthier. And at this time, in 2011, his rosette was very Friedrich inspired. If you look closely, you'll see. And he was doing Nomex double tops at the time. And while his newer guitars have evolved and are different beasts, there are some people that prefer his older guitars, these Nomex double tops. So we'll see what you guys think. I don't have one of the new ones with me right now. But it is certainly interesting when you see luthiers either go Nomex to balsa or balsa to Nomex. It does happen. The unfair comparison is that this guitar has had lots of time to break in. It's a very natural sounding. It sounds like a complete guitar. It doesn't sound like tight or lacking vibration in certain areas. I mean, this thing has a pretty earth-shattering and complex sound. I mean, it's very, very balanced. It's really hard to understand sometimes what your hands feel and your ears pick up on when you play guitars. I mean, there's some guitars that a chord like this, you know, where I'm barred up on a higher fret, but I'm playing the low E. There's some guitars where that feels just utterly uncontrollable to get a good sound from. Like maybe this E will be super loud and then the rest will sound quiet in comparison. So that when you roll the chord, it just doesn't flow. Like it doesn't sound appealing. You have to like micromanage. You know, you have to be like, okay, loud, like quiet, loud, 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 loud. On this guitar, listen how I'm rolling through this. I'm not micromanaging at all. It's very balanced. But hey, you know what? I'm starting the review too early. We have to wait for a couple others to show up. I see some people are tuning in here. So if you have made it and you are, ready to hear some guitars, drop a comment. I'd love to hear who is around, who's watching today. Thanks for joining me on the odd Tuesday morning here at 11 a.m. I imagine lots of folks are at work, but you know what? This is the time I have to squeeze this in. So, by the way, if you are looking at this guitar that I'm holding right now, made by Glenn Canin, this guitar is not on the website yet, and it's a fantastic used double top guitar in amazing condition with a super loud sound. Write to me if you're interested because a video will be coming out on this, and it is not spoken for yet. So, could be interesting. Well, I'll wait a couple more minutes for folks to join. But if you are watching and you feel so inclined to say something, let me know where you're tuning in from. What city, what state, what country? Would love to hear. I have to tell you, I'm in Austin, Texas, and we have just about the best the best weather of the entire year going on right now. We've got days in the mid 70s as a high, sometimes in the 60s at night, dropping down to the 40s and 50s. It's so nice. Great running weather. I've been out there a lot, recovering today from a run, and playing a lot of guitar and teaching today. So let's get started. What do you guys think? I'm sure a lot of you will be tuning in and commenting here as more people join, but I usually start at 5 minutes past the hours with the actual guitar presentation part. So why don't we do that? Scott Rosette says, good morning from the Bronx. Hey, awesome. What's up, Scott? Welcome. Rosette, I mean, hey, is that your real last name? That's pretty cool, if that's the case. Or maybe that's your guitar name. Hi from Wimbley Island in Washington. Oh, what's up, Robert? Cool. You know, my grandfather used to live on Wimbley Island. I don't know how to say it right. I always thought he was saying Whidbey Island. I think it's the same. It was in Washington. So hello, Robert. Nice to see you. And well, let's get started, y'all. I see more people are tuning in. It's funny. It shows me a spike. It must be when like YouTube sends notifications to people and lets you all know that that I'm streaming here. Well, okay, let's get started. I have two great guitars to show you today, maybe three. What's up, Brian? Good to see you. I saw your message, by the way. Delightful thing to wake up to. So I will be writing shortly. Paradise Valley. So tell me, is Paradise Valley really a paradise? Is it nice? I've never been. Leonardo, what's up? How are you doing? What number is Glenn's guitar? He built his first double top number 55 before me. It was Spruce. Great guitar. This one is 2011 and is number 64. So he'd built quite a few more after that. It's funny you say that, Leo. The first Glenn Canin I played was either 2010 or 2011. And it was a Spruce double top owned by Stephen Lerman. He's a great guitarist and friend of mine. He was in his master's degree at Florida State when I was in my undergraduate. And it was possibly the best guitar I'd ever played at the time. I mean, I was just getting started, so I hadn't played a lot of amazing guitars. And certainly I hadn't played a double top that I liked yet. Remember, this is, 2010. This was 15 years ago. Crazy. But I loved that guitar that he had. And that was a Spruce. And this cedar reminds me so much of it. And obviously, like, the headstock is the same and the rosette's the same. It's a bit full of itself in Paradise Valley. That's funny. It's a real courtesy of Ellis Island. Gotcha. Okay, cool. You're talking about Whidbey Island. Very neat. Very neat. Well, okay, I'm going to get started. I want to share with you this guitar made by Glenn Canin. He is one of the most well-respected American luthiers and certainly at the forefront of double top making, with performers all over the world playing on his guitars. But in the States, people like Adam Holzman, Jaleel Rafiq Kaya, Leonardo Garcia here. He's a friend of Glenn Canin, plays on these guitars. And gosh, my mind is blanking right now, but many great players play on his guitars, and especially American guitarist, because a little bit closer access to him in California. But he has quite a wait list, and I have to tell you that the qualities that I've gotten to know about Glenn's guitars, which, by the way, you can see other reviews of his instruments on my channel, are all present in this much earlier guitar of his. This one's from 2011, and I was just mentioning here that my very first Canin that I'd ever played, and my very first double top I ever liked, was in 2010, and it was a Spruce double top. Very similar to this one. Of course, this is a cedar double top. And what blew me away about the guitar was the balance, how full the sound was. And I mean, of course, the overall tone quality and singiness of the guitar, the sustain, these types of things. But I have to tell you, a very unique thing about Glenn's guitars, which you would think is simple. Lots of luthiers, I think, seem to think it's simple, and there's scientific ways to figure all this out. But something is very mysterious about Glenn's guitar's intonation. they are always in tune all over the fingerboard. And, you know, by the way, sometimes like an acceptable level of intonation varies by quite a bit from person to person or guitar to guitar. I mean, honestly, as long as it's somewhere close, I'm usually not one to super complain about it. But when all the stars align and somehow a guitar is just in tune everywhere, it feels kind of like a miracle, honestly, because the guitar, tuning-wise, is a very imperfect instrument. I'm not going to dive too deep into that today, but take a listen to some of this. Now, keep in mind, I've been talking for a few minutes here, the AC is running, and I'm going to show you how in tune this guitar is. You know, I really don't think this is something you're going to hear much over a stream, but it is just so beautifully in tune. In fact, I'm going to check the tuning to make sure we are all perfectly centered here. But the intonation and how consistent it is across strings with the tuning is spectacular. So listen to this again. Sounds so great. I mean, you never get an E major that sounds this good. That third string is normally so sharp when you tune it all to the centers. But you know, he does compensation up at the nut, up at the saddle, and it's got to be some of his fretwork and other things as well. It just doesn't make so much sense to me. It's really great. But anyways, that's a small thing compared to the overall sound quality of this guitar, which I have to say is very natural sounding for a double top. I mean, there are some qualities that you notice in this guitar that you'll hear in a lot of the Spanish guitars, notably like Antonio Marin Montero and some of the great Spanish makers. I mean, Santos Hernandez. There's qualities in this that just pop out that really remind me of those guitars. One of them is how it responds when you push it. It brightens up a bit. It's got a little bit of aggression to it. It doesn't shy away from the bright end of things when you push it, which many double tops will. In fact, sometimes it's a little bit of a charming characteristic of a guitar to not brighten up. You know, it conceals all of our issues as guitarists sometimes, right? We get clicky, we get bright when a nail isn't quite right. This guitar doesn't do that. It doesn't disguise your mistakes, and it does expose this bright side, which any great traditional guitar will. In fact, you know, if you're someone who plays a very dark double top, dark sounding, really round sound, and then you go playing like a great Hauser guitar or something like this, you will probably sound terrible and hate the guitar at first if you like grew up playing double tops or you're very used to a double top guitar. So that's the traditional part about this guitar by Glenn Canin that I really like. It is not shy to get bright. And perhaps this comes from Glenn's flamenco background. He plays some flamenco guitar. He also studied with Pepe Romero and some others at USC. And before he ever built classical guitars, he actually built, well, surfboards and also flamenco guitars. So I like to think that he does a really great job at keeping some of this Spanish fire in his guitars. Do you hear that? Listen, oh, I'm peaking the microphones. I'm sorry. Let me turn this down a little bit. It sounds like trash, probably. But take a listen to this. When I push into it, it likes it. It tells me, hey, keep doing that. That's pretty cool. And then when I play like this, really tells me keep doing that. Also, keep playing quietly. I'm going to respond to you. I'm going to stay balanced. But when you push it, this is really a good test, I think, of the well-roundedness of double top guitars, you know? Is if you can push it, which is a quality that I like. I really like to be able to push a guitar and to be able to feel some of this real Spanish guitar sound out of double tops still, you know, or lattice brace for that matter. Isn't that nice? It's yeah, it's a wonderful guitar. There's lots of it's very capable of having this huge dynamic range. You saw when I came from here. Sounds really, really great. And I knew this question would come up, actually. Someone asked here, what strings are on this? Well, let me tell you, I just got this guitar in the mail a couple days ago. And, well, gosh, 3-4 days ago now, before the weekend. And the strings on this guitar are ancient. If I had to guess, these strings are probably more than a year old. They might be much more than that. They are old, not necessarily in sound. They still sound okay. So that's why I'm still presenting it to you here today. Otherwise, I would have waited until I got a string change in, which I definitely will before making a video on this guitar. But they're very old. Now, if I had to guess what they were, I'm going to say they're Savarez. I think they are Savarez basses. And the reason I think so is I can hear the scratchiness. Savarez in the basses, if you play with a normal... I don't know, it's harder to hear when it's when the strings are this old, but there's a scratchiness to the basses on Savarez strings. And you have to really change your angle a whole lot if you play at you have to change your angle a whole lot in order to not get it scratchy. Like if I played on D'Addario strings and I did this, it wouldn't be this scratchy. It has to do with how they wind their strings. But anyways, they're great sounding strings. But on this guitar, they're ancient. I believe from the looks of it that they are Savarez and that it's all nylon strings, not a single carbon string in sight on this one. So I'm going to end up changing them. But hey, you know what? I got to tell you, the first string, listen to this. Everyone check their first strings on your guitar. If you do this, and it sounds like you're, it sounds like you're on working the turntable, then it's time to change your first string. In fact, you know what? I'm going to spew a little hate here. So watch out. You tuned in at the right time. People with scratchy nails, you got to stop. You have to stop. You know, you need to get one of these. They're like 99 cents. Or you go to the beauty supply store, okay? Have no shame. Walk into there. Get yourself a nail file. And make, you know what, one of my former professors, Adam Holzman, always used to say that your nails, the way they should feel when you rub your finger across them, should be like you're touching the rim of a wine glass with your lips. It's so smooth, there are no imperfections. Otherwise you're thinking, oh, is this glass broken? Anyways, why I'm ranting? Because sometimes people play your guitars and they have scratchy nails, and all it takes, and anyone that knows, hey, Drew's here, he'll tell you, all it takes is a few minutes of someone playing your guitar with scratchy nails, and it ruins your strings completely if you play with smooth nails. So if you hear this, I mean, it's going to ruin your nails. It ruins the possibility of having a little bit of a refined sound. See, now when I do this, I hear shung, 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 instead of dum, dum, dum. See if I avoid the scratches. Crystal clear sound, or maybe, yeah, not much experimenting down here. Really crystal clear, but here, you hear? You get a little wispy sound right before. And yeah, so these strings are ruined, and I'll be able to make better sound on this guitar once I change the strings. These are ancient, but this guitar still sounds great. And you know what, you guys, don't cancel me, okay? Scratchy string lovers, don't cancel me. Yeah, Brian says, sounds great even with the peaking. Yeah, it was peaking earlier. Drew, you'd be disappointed. I had still peaking. Nice. It's tricky because in the live stream, you know, I want it to still be loud, but not so loud, obviously. Yeah, Leonardo, you agree about the intonation of Glenn's guitars. Hey, thanks for the shirt compliment here, right? It looks like I'm gonna be hanging out outside on the beach all day, sipping margaritas or something, but I will be teaching today and making guitar videos. I'll probably record this guitar if I can get new strings to settle in time. Laying the smack down, that's right. Me with scratchy nails. What do you think of playing without nails? You know what? I have to say, there are some people that get away with playing without nails and sound pretty darn good. It's definitely an acceptable way to play. I mean, some people, we have to face it, some people have careers where they can't have nails at all. I mean, if you work with your hands, it's very difficult to maintain to maintain hands. To maintain nails. And also some of the kids that I've taught, you know, they're like playing basketball, they're playing football, they're playing in the dirt. It's very hard unless they're taking things super seriously to get them playing with nails. So there is still a way to produce good sound without nails. This is no problem. And I think it's a fascinating subject to talk about which guitars work better and which strings work better for no nails. And there's already some great videos out there. In fact, Brandon Acker's channel is really great. He talks about no nail playing. And you know what? There's also someone, if you guys don't know, there's someone named Virginia Luque, Luque, and there's some videos of her. And she plays with little to no nails. I think no nails. I think she talks about it on her website, if I'm correct. Someone confirmed this for me. I know there's a lot of guitar lovers here. And she creates a very compelling sound with no nails. I have to say, there are very few people that I think actually sound great with no nails. Keep in mind, the bar for great is, we're comparing this to like the best sounds in the world. So it's very hard to say that anyone sounds great with no nails, but there are some. So it's very possible, I think. What's up, Rafael? Good to see you. For those of you Spanish speakers especially, you should check out Rafael's channel, Rafael Elizondo. I think I'm saying this right. He has some great tutorials. I'll sometimes watch them in translated mode because my Spanish is terrible. There we go. Scott recommending some sandpaper. That's what I like to see. Fuel the fire here. Hit him with that sandpaper recommendation. Oh, O'Brien asking about overtones versus sympathetic vibrations. Well, you know what? I went off on a rant in the Friedrich versus Field live stream. And video, I don't know. Oh, I think I trimmed that part out. I think Bowen edited that video, and I think he trimmed that part out, which is good because it was way too long. The difference between overtones and sympathetic vibrations. Yeah, it's kind of like one of these all squares are rectangles, but not all rectangles are squares things. No, it's the other way around. But anyways, the thing is, oftentimes people mistake overtones as in the overtone for one fundamental note that you're playing and muting all the other strings. Like say I play B here on the 12th fret and I mute all the other strings as evidenced by my hand here. I'm only letting the second string ring. Overtones, as we try to describe it on guitar, are what happens to this note. What notes are you hearing aside from this B? Right? Do you hear a little bit of the fifth and octaves above and below? And the complexities of each note and the sound is often just characterized by what very subtle, hardly audible overtones are being heard when you play that single note. Now, the reality is on the classical guitar, you almost never have that situation because you're playing a line, maybe you're doing this, right? And that's the end of your piece, right? I mean, you have this low E ringing, and then as I play all these other notes like A, it's lighting up. I like to say lighting up because I imagine the strings lighting up or the notes lighting up, I guess. But anyways, you are lighting up other strings. Other strings begin vibrating because you're playing notes that they really agree with. They're like, hey, that guy's saying exactly what I believe. You know? So anyways, I'm playing this, right? Boom, I hit A, and guess what? If I hit this A and I mute everything besides that fifth string, the A string, watch this. Shoot, let me do that again. Oh, sorry, listen. Do you hear? The A continues. Oh, here we go. Right? I have to stop that A string to stop that A, actually, right? If I go... There's all of these, I mean, this is a problem. I hit E, F sharp, G sharp, and A, which set off all sorts of other vibrations. Listen to this. G sharp catches this harmonic on the 4th fret, the 3rd. That's an octave up. On this E string. See, listen to this. G sharp. You hear it? I'm going to get closer. Do you hear this? Oops, again. See? That 6th string is set off even because it has a harmonic in it that's a major 3rd, which is not the loudest one. You know, we've got octaves, 2 octaves, we got 1 octave. I mean, there's all sorts of other more powerful harmonics. And so a lot of times when people say like, oh, the overtones are so beautiful on this guitar, it's like, it is caused by overtones of that note causing the other vibrations to ring. But sympathetic vibrations, are something that actually vary differently, vary quite a lot to guitar. Some guitar sympathetic vibrations are just crazy. Somehow every note lights up the strings, and it gives 2 effects. One of the effects can be a very warm, big sound that is, that feels like very wholesome and fun to hear. Because, you know, there's all of this sound coming out of the guitar. You know, without saying volume, there's a lot of sound coming out of the guitar. You hear a lot of other things, you know. It's kind of like if you were imagining you were to sing a vocal track and then you were to overdub it with the same thing and then overdub it again an octave higher, overdub it again with a 5th above it. It's more sound, and you can make it still the same exact volume, but it's just more sound. There's lots of more information there. And sometimes it's really an amazing quality on guitars. And some luthiers really seek that, all of these overtones and sympathetic vibrations. And then other times it's distracting. Sometimes you want clarity. You want, and really, you don't always want clarity. Sometimes you want this sound that overwhelms clarity itself. You know, that's just so... Sometimes you want all this overwhelming sympathetic vibrations. And hey, you can even choose on a guitar that's really heavy in sympathetic vibrations. You can choose to let it be the most heavy, or on a guitar that doesn't have tons of overwhelming sympathetic vibrations, you can maximize the ones it has by not muting any other strings with your thumb or wrist or anything when you're playing. For instance, on this guitar, it's somewhere in the middle. I mean, there's lots of sympathetic vibrations on this guitar, but it's not the most. In fact, a lot of lattice guitars have a lot more sympathetic vibrations. But watch me try to maximize the sympathetic vibrations and sort of let the line breathe with beautiful sound. Watch this. I'll go just on the second string and muting no strings. Oh, yeah, I'll click the string. Here we go. You see, there's like this chorus going along with the guitar that's like, ooh, and then when I play the next note, you hear, ah. You hear that? I mean, it's even that vowel sound. You hear this? Hear the chorus behind it? I can mute all the other strings and you get no chorus. Right? That's like someone put the microphone up to you while you're singing something at a wedding party and you're out of tune and your voice is cracking. See, no sympathetic vibrations because I'm muting everything. But if I unmute again, you get this little chorus. And this is F sharp. It's not the strongest one. But now, other times, you might choose to have a very fragile, beautiful melody that just any one thing can destroy it. As in, you know, you're not supported by sympathetic vibrations. And you could choose to have that. I'm going to show you an area where I choose in a piece of music where I want no sympathetic vibrations, or maybe very few. It's this slower section that's like in Sevilla by Albéniz, where it kind of has the sound of this soloist popping out with all the music stopping and doing their own dramatic part of the show, right? So listen to this. Let's do that again without clicking. I'm missing that note, but... See, it's that note really isolated. But if I want everything to ring, I can do this. Everything's vibrating. Right? But I might do this instead. Oh, that's actually how I do it. I realize I set my thumb down on the bass strings here, and I do rest stroke. So nothing can ring, and I lean my hand back so the first string doesn't ring either. And I'm not tuned to the Sevilla tuning. I need to do that. I can't remember now. The Sevilla tuning is drop D and A drop to G because it's in G major. Yeah. Wow, that's my unwarmed up Sevilla. Then you have to, after you make some mistakes and have uneven slurs, you always have to say, but I didn't really warm up today. I haven't been practicing, I swear. Anyways, okay, I hope that was a good demonstration of sympathetic vibrations. And people often speak completely incorrectly about overtones. And it's understandable because in some way it sounds like overtones. And I mean, when I think of overtones, I think of what happens to that single note, not how it affects other strings. It's like, when you talk about overtones and you're really meaning sympathetic vibrations, it's like if you had the level of incorrectness it is to me is like if you had a bunch of guitars around you, like I sort of do in here right now, and you were to play a note on one guitar and then hold a microphone up to the other guitar as it's vibrating, because when you play a note on one guitar, the others vibrate a little bit. And then you say, oh, listen to this guitar's overtones. And you're like talking about the guitar that you were just playing, and you hold it up to the mic up to another guitar. That wouldn't make sense. You're like, that's not that guitar's overtones. That's the other strings ringing. And so I feel the same about, speaking of overtones. These are not overtones. If I do this, and I hear that, whatever, I hear E, but I hear that note, right? This harmonic here. You hear the high overtone? That note, right? That's not an overtone of the note. That is a sympathetic vibration. But see, I mute it and... Okay, wow. So I feel like I didn't really demonstrate this guitar very well, but I'm just talking about overtones and stuff. Brian just set me off here and triggered me. Now I'm all about overtones in this stream. So I gotta mention the editors, do not post this. Don't make a video for my overtone fueled hate rant. But this Canin guitar is spectacular. It's one of these guitars that you can just feel so comfortable making music on. I'm going out of tune because I changed my tuning. There it is. But listen to this. Wow. The notes just pop off this guitar, and that was Pavana by Targa. Or, no it's not. That's Tango Maria by Targa. Or just Tango. He's called it different things over the years. But yes, this has been a guitar by Glenn Canin. American luthier, fantastic guitar, 2011. It's available, not on the website yet. There is hardly a mark on this guitar. There's actually like one stray Raschiato mark that's like this big, couple little nail marks in the top. But you would guess this guitar was built last year. In fact, I was just handling a colleague's guitar that he'd only been playing for a year and a half. Maybe he's watching. And it looked like it had been played for 20 years. So there's lots of marks in it. But this one is in pristine condition. It's a cedar double top with Nomex in the in-between layer. It has a raised fingerboard. Has one of the most comfortable necks in the biz. It's super easy to play, super in tune. And wait till you hear this thing with new strings, which is on the docket for me to do today here, is to change the strings on this thing. Drew, whatever that piece was, your shirt matched it perfectly. Thank you. You know what? Next time I'm going to have like a little coconut here and with a straw and umbrella inside of it. That's when it gets closer to summertime. These streams will get a little more unhinged because I don't like the summer in Texas, as you can imagine. Not many people do. Okay, well, I have approximately 15 more minutes, and I almost decided to put this Glenn Canin guitar inside of this Lacote case. So you guys almost witnessed a broken guitar. Just kidding. Obviously, I would notice before. I'm going to set this guitar down. Oh, I'm just going to exchange it right here. So, by the way, big shout out to Hercules guitar stands. If you need a floor stand that's not super sketchy, get one of these. They have this the locking mechanism, and it hangs from the stand, so you're not feeling like if you just barely bump into this that your guitar is going to go tipping over, or if your dog or cat runs into it or something. So, okay. Well, what do I have here? I mean, gosh, I feel like I look pretty cool just wielding this thing. Look at this. Just show you some of the back of this guitar. Isn't this crazy? This is an original Lacote by Rene Lacote, the maker that many of your favorite 19th century guitars played on. Soter, Carcassi. These were the guitars. I mean, maybe they touched this guitar. Isn't that crazy? Maybe this was in his workshop. They were coming by, or maybe Soter was writing his Mozart variations off of the Magic Flute, for Mozart's Magic Flute. Maybe he was like, you know what? Hey, this is a nice one. Will you build me one like this? This is my little dream here. Oh, wow, I'm in a different tune. Oh, wow, listen to that. This, look, this is what happens when I don't check before stream. This one's a little detuned, so I'm going to tune it up. And this is the funny thing about friction pegs. They take a little bit of caressing. But they do move fast. It's pretty nice. Oh, it's like kind of droppy. A little more. See? Oops, too much. Sorry I'm having a tune here, but you'll see the struggles of great. I'm going to tune this up to standard. Once you get used to the friction pegs, then it's not so bad. Listen to that. Banjo. Ivan, what's up? It is the size of a banjo. Isn't this incredible? There we go. I know Brian says that thing is posh, beautiful case. You surprised at the depth of the voice. Man, it really surprises me too. You know, it is a complete guitar. If you played this thing, it's so crazy. I mean, you know, I have this, it's not a Lacote model, but I have this Altamira Stauffer, and that thing is great, especially for the money. But gosh, this actual 19th century Lacote is just breathtaking. I mean, the way that the whole thing feels complete, how the whole guitar vibrates, it's bizarre. It's bizarre. I'm telling you, you have to try it. Oh, how about this thing matching my shirt? What do you guys think? Not in style or century or sincerity, but in color. What do you think? Make this the thumbnail. This thing is just so cool to look at. So let me show you. This is an 1820's Rene Lacote guitar, as evidenced by the headstock here, which says Lacote à Paris. And it's very hard to see. This is written in gold foil, this engraving technique that they use, very small amounts of gold. And sometimes, in this period of time, Lacote put this on his headstocks. Now, you'll see some Lacotes, some photos of Lacotes where it's like perfect gold foil writing and where you can really clearly read what he wrote. And that worries me a little bit because I think it means possibly the guitar was, that area was redone. And since this one has some missing, it gives me a little bit more of an indication that it may not have been redone. And if it was redone, then they probably would not have redone it at the angle that they have it here, which is slightly tilted. Take a look. See if it'll focus. Can you see that? I don't want to damage this guitar by the weird angle that I place it at. But it says Lacote à Paris here. And this guitar has clearly been repaired. In fact, this guitar has the original Lacote label, which you can see there on the inside in the center. And then if you look back a little bit, you're not going to be able to see this on the video, but do you see back a little bit, there's another label? That label says, has the date of repair. There was a repair done to this guitar, and it was done in 1853. Isn't that crazy? There's a date on this one. 1853 it was repaired. And, you know, there's some cracks in this thing that have been touched up, and the sides, there was obviously cracks here that were fixed. And, you know, you feel actually along the guitar, and you can feel little areas that have like warped over time and stuff. But it's crazy how this guitar survived and sounds so great. This G string's still scratching. I know I'm not playing the full piece. This is Corcasi 3. Let me play the whole thing for you guys, because now I'm embarrassed. I can't remember exactly with confidence how to play the second half. Let me sight read do the second half here. Okay, it's... Does it get better than that? Tell me. I mean, it is such a wonderful, warm, resonant guitar that I think the first string, it sets the standard for first strings on guitars. I mean, listen to this. I pushed a little too hard. Talk about sympathetic vibrations. Listen to that. Just listen. Well, if this isn't the way to end the stream, then I don't know what is. This is a beautiful Lacote with just the most gorgeous back and sides. Satin wood back and sides. I almost forgot the name. I almost said maple. It's satin wood back and sides. And a beautiful spruce double top. No, I'm kidding. It's a beautiful spruce top that is just aged. I mean, this is what you hope your guitar looks like, right? After 200 years or something. It is coming up. Oh, this is more than 200 years old now. And wow, it's so spectacular. It's a guitar truly from the 1820's that is just so much fun to play, and what a joy to look at. If I wasn't scared of students bumping into this guitar all the time, I would keep this out. And if you are interested in any of the guitars today, which I showed this beautiful double top that I just got in that's not on the website yet by Glenn Canin, write me a message, send me an email. I'll be making a video on it maybe today or tomorrow. And I haven't made a full review video on this Lacote, mostly because I don't want to let it go. But exciting things to come. The next live stream will be on Tuesday. Well, actually, maybe not. I'm going to be in London picking up a super special guitar, a Smallman, actually, an old Smallman. So keep an eye out for that. I am really excited to go pick that one up, and I'll be presenting it here on the channel for you as well. Thanks so much for watching, you all, and for tuning in. Sorry I didn't get to everyone's questions here. Oh my gosh, Rigondi. See now. I don't think I remember how to play this. Yeah, anyways. Yeah, thanks for reminding me to go play some Rigondi. But thanks so much for watching, everyone. It's all for a day of teaching and recording for me. And I will see you in the next live stream. And watch out for another video going live tomorrow on the channel of a great Spanish guitar. So, thanks again, and I'll see you in the next stream or in the next video. Write me a message. Bye-bye.